are you doing, man? How you doing on the first day of the show?
Good, good. Glad to be here. I was supposed to be here last year, but things didn't work out, so it's nice to be here this year.
All right, awesome. So, in understanding you had what was raised in DC, from what I understand, not too far from here.
Yeah.
Are you going to have time to do any of the things, maybe some pastimes things that you recalled from growing up, places that you went to within that time? Because I know when it comes to cons, like it can be very committed in terms of everything down to the minute of what your time's committed to.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to have time to go back. I'd love to go back to Gaithersburg, Maryland, which is where I was living when I was a young kid, and it was farm country back then. I would love to go see how it's changed.
Oh yeah, this is definitely not farm country.
I'm sure it's not. But this trip I won't be able to go to do much of that. I'm going to be stuck here, just doing the convention stuff, and then I got to get back home.
Okay, all right, cool. So outside of, obviously, with what we have with Star Trek, and I can even get into soap opera as well, but with your body of work as an actor, I feel like it's very interesting when you have those that are actors also that direct as well, and they have that hat that they put on. As someone who acts themselves, it's always an interesting dynamic when you have both of those hats that you carry, and I feel like when you are being directed by someone who has done that as an actor, it's definitely a different intangible feeling that you get from that. So can you speak to that, of having that dynamic when you have been on that side as an actor, working with someone who is also an actor who directs you, and then on the other side too as a director who is working with actors?
Yeah, I think it definitely helps a lot to have been an actor and done what you're asking the actors to do.
Sure.
When I've had scenes as a director with a character who's got to cry or got to do something really emotional, I can talk to them about having done that before and empathize with how challenging sometimes it can be to try to find a way to help them achieve the goals of the scene. So I think actors often feel like safer with another actor directing them because they feel like you speak the same language, and that's always very helpful. When I was an actor, I did have a couple actors direct me, and I really did love it. But I also love sometimes when a director would come from another background and they might have a different way of talking about acting that I hadn't heard before, and sometimes that was really great. So I think that people can come in to the job of director from all kinds of creative backgrounds. So learning how to speak a few fundamental, words of acting to the actors is really helpful.
Outstanding. And then lastly, I was talking about Star Trek before, and it's always intrinsically fascinating of how that IP, product, whatever you want to classify it as, how it speaks to so many people and all the thematic things that it brings to the table, that it seems to strike a chord with people. So personally for you, what would you say that is, as someone who has been a part of that behemoth and a part of that legacy?
Well, I think the reason people, in my opinion, connect with Star Trek so personally is that they can see themselves in the stories that Star Trek tells. And that using science fiction and aliens that, are very different than us in the fantasy genre, it allows us to tell stories that kind of dig down to the heart of the human experience. Doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter what you do for a living, what you look like, how old you are, if you're a kid or you're a grandparent, those fundamental human experiences that they can see. And the stories sort of take a moral or almost spiritual, kind of look at those the human experience, the challenge of human experience. And that's why I think people love it. They see themselves in it. They can relate to these very human experiences, even though it's an alien world we're talking about. And it's not just blowing up ships and space fights and things like that. It's really at the heart of it a very hopeful, very optimistic view of what the future might be like and what we can learn from being good to each other.
Absolutely. Yeah. Robert, thank you so much for squeezing in some time here at 2023 Shore Leave. Thank you so much.
Thank you.